Hi there, welcome to this fourth in the series of exam success for the Sitting Guilds 2382 exam. Remember, as you run through, pause the video as required so that you can find your answer route. Again, we're running through sample paper 1. Remember, read the question, read the answers. If you know the answer it and move on. If you know how to find the answer, again, just by looking at the keywords in the question or the answers to find your answer route, then use that to find the answer it and move on. If you've used up your 2 minutes, you're no further forward, no closer to answering the question. Remember, answer it to the best of your ability, flag it, and move on. Okay, remember, write that number down at the back of your login sheet. Okay, again, you've only got 2 minutes a question, so you're trying to save time or save as much time as possible at the end of the exam so that you can go back once you've completed all the questions, the 60 questions, and spend any spare time you've got looking at these questions that you struggled with. So we're going to continue on questions 31 through 40 on that paper 1 in your folder. So question 31, the table in BS 7671 that provides installation and reference methods for determining the current capacities of cables is entitled which of the following? So we're looking for a table number, okay, in relation to determining current carrying capacities, okay. So your best route for that is the table of tables at the end of the book, just before the index. So if you look at the table of tables and you're looking at the identified tables that are on your list there, you'll see there table 4A2 is a schedule of installation methods of cables, including reference methods for determining current carrying capacity. All right. Question 32, the external influence code relating to impact is which of the following? And we've got a list of basic external influence codes there. So external influence code, we find them in Appendix 5. And we're going to be looking for impact, okay? So external influence, Appendix 5. If we look at that external influence code list in Appendix 5 for environment, you'll see there, AG, we have impact, okay? Remember, sometimes you'll be able to just utilise in the exam, you'll just be able to utilise the lists that are on this, on the second page of Appendix 5, or you might have to go and further investigate for each particular code, okay? Question 33. For operating in island mode, a prosumer's electrical installation should be connected to, and then we've got the DSO supply, a suitable earth electrode, a rectifier bank, or other independent prosumers. Okay. So looking at this here, I know where I'm leaning towards, but we're looking at prosumers electrical installations, and we're looking for information about island moding, okay, or information in relation to what's on the list. So if we get into definitions, we'll have a look at island mode. You'll see that it's operating, island mode is an operating mode in which the prosumer's electrical installation is disconnected from the public distribution system, but it remains energized. Okay, so it remains energized. If we go into prosumer's electrical installations and look at operating modes, you'll see they're in island mode there. It's identifying chapter 82, but it's the annex. B82, it's another annex. So anytime we're looking at the annexes, you need to have a wee look at what's underneath the heading. So annex, so chapter 82 or annex B82. If it's the annex B82, you'll see that says informative. So what does that mean? Informative, well, at the front of the book it tells you there informative annexes. They're recommendations, guidance, or statements that assist you in the understanding and use in the document. Whereas if it said normative, it contains requirements and procedural instructions in addition to those in the main body of the document. So if it's an informative, we're less likely to be interested in the informative information. Looking further down in prosumer's electrical installation, we've got bit here on earthing and another bit here on isolation of the installation. You see both of these are heading us, sending us towards 826. Okay, if we go to 826.1.12, there you'll see there in that first part of that regulation there, it says there that the prosumers electrical installation in island mode has to be connected to a suitable earth electrode. Okay. Question 34. Cable installed under a floor or above a ceiling without mechanical protection should be run at least which of the following? Okay, so we've got distances for where we take our cable through a joist or a batten. So we're looking at cables installed, yeah. Now, whether that's under a floor or above a ceiling, but we're interested in the mechanical protection. So there's a couple of ways in which we can find this. If we get into our index, we look at mechanical protection. If we look at our wiring system, it sends us to 522.6, or we can look at cables above a ceiling, or in ceilings, cables above a ceiling in relation to mechanical damage, protection against mechanical damage, or we could look at cables in floors where we're looking at cables under, and you'll see there it's honed us closer into where we were looking for our answer. So 5226201. So 5226201, you'll see there, the cable installed under a floor above a ceiling shall be run in such a position that it is not liable to be damaged by contact with the floor or ceiling or their fixings. A cable passing through a joist within a floor or ceiling construction or through a ceiling support, for example under floorboards, shall, point 1, be installed at least 50 millimeters measured vertically from the top or bottom. So there you go, we've got one answer there. Or complies with regulation 5226204, where we're talking about the selected wiring system with mechanical protection or extra low voltage. Okay. Question 35. Information relating to the maximum values allowed for voltage drop in consumer installations can be found in which of the following? So we're looking for voltage drop, and then you'll see there we have a list of appendices. You can find this in the contents page, you can find it in the index. If you go to the index, then you're running through each one of these appendices, looking via voltage drop, or if you go to the contents page, you'll see there in the contents page, Appendix 4 is the only one that actually identifies voltage drop. Appendix 3 is time current characteristics. I drew a blank there. Time current characteristics for our overcurrent protective devices. Appendix 5 is our external influences, and Appendix 12 is not in use. Okay, so Appendix 4 is the one for cable sizing. Question 36. The deviating factor for a cable surrounded by thermal insulation over a length of 0.5 meters is which of the following? So we're looking for cables in thermal insulation. Okay, we're looking for a derating factor. So for that, 0.5 meter or more. So if we go in the index and we look at thermal insulation, you'll see there we have regulation 523.9 or Appendix 4 section 2.6. Either of these will give us this value for the 0.5 meter or more. If it's less than 0.5 meter, then we're definitely looking at Appendix 4 section 2.6. So if we look at 523.9 in the third paragraph down there, you see for a single cable likely to be totally surrounded by thermally insulating material over a length of 0.5 meters or more, the current carrying capacity shall be taken in the absence of more precise information as 0.5 times the current carrying capacity for that cable clip direct, reference method C. Okay, if we're looking for sizes other than that, less than that 0.5 a meter, then we're looking at Appendix 4 section 2.6. Okay, so that table used to be table 52.2. It's now in Appendix 4 section 2.6. Question 37. Which one of the following is not required to be considered in relation to the connection between conductors or between a conductor and other equipment? So we're looking at connections of conductors. So if we go to connections and we look in general, you'll see there it's sending us either to the front of the book, 13414, or section 526. If we look at conductors, we look at joints, again it's sending us to section 526. Okay, so if we go to 526, you'll see the second regulation there, 526.2. We have this list. First one on the list is the material of the conductor and its insulation, number and shape of the wires forming the conductor, and then the fourth one there is the number of conductors to be connected together. So looking back at the question, the type of overcurrent device protecting the cable is not something we take into account when we are connecting up our cables. 38. Cables complying with the flame propagating elements of which of the following standards do not require special precautions in relation to the risk of the spread of fire? So looking at these, folks, we're looking at the British standards, okay? And we're going to run through these in alphabetical and numerical order. So we're going to start at A, move on to D, C, and then B, just because of the sequence of the numbers, okay? So if you get into British Standards in Appendix 1, you'll see there, this one here is talking about that test for the flame propagating requirements for cables and fibre optic cables, whereas the rest of these are for things like wiring systems and enclosures, IP ratings. Okay, so BSEN 60332-1-2. Question 39. Which of the following would not be classed as voltage band 1? We've got a domestic bell circuit, a domestic lighting circuit, data cabling and signalling circuitry. The one for me that stands out is this domestic lighting circuit, because all of these other ones here are what I would consider to be extra low voltage, although you might have signalling circuitry that might potentially be low voltage. Okay, so we're going to have a look at voltage bands. Yeah, so we're looking at voltage band 1. What does it mean by voltage band 1? So if we get into our definition, look at voltage band 1, you'll see there we have extra low voltage, and voltage band 2 it has low voltage. So low voltage, that's your general wiring systems, above 50 volts AC, less than 1000 volts AC. Okay, so on that list, the one that stands out there is that domestic lighting circuit. Question 40, where an underground power cable crosses or is in close proximity to an underground telecommunications cable, which of the following is the required minimum clearance? So we've got minimum clearances here that we need to achieve. Keywords, we've got underground power cables, buried cables, underground cables, and telecommunications cables. So if we look in our index, we into cables, we have buried. You'll see there it sends us to these three regulations here, 4331203, 522810, and 5233. Looking at these regulations here, the first one relates to a derating factor, the second one relates to cable protection and marker tape, etc., and the third one is in relation to cable size. So if we look further down, you'll see there we have a section here for segregation from other electrical and non-electrical services, and that's sending us to 528, which is actually where we want to go. Another way we could go, we could look at telecommunications cables, and if you look at here, this interference prevention of electrical interference, and segregation from other circuits, you'll see that that's taking us to 5282. So if we look at 528, proximity of wiring systems, 5282, proximity communication cables, you'll see there we've got information about underground cables and underground power cables. The minimum clearance there is 100 millimeters. Okay, so that's us through the next 10 questions. Hopefully that's helped you. Getting your head around about how to navigate these types of questions. Remember, if you're running any difficulty, you know how to get in contact with me, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.